I've been a fan of the Elixir since it came out, and it does exactly what I need to do. Long off the tee, holds a lot of greens. I can easily spin it with the wedges. Performs very well, okay? When the new ball came out, the Vero X1, I was skeptical because they say it's longer off the tee, but usually that means it's a harder cover. Well, it's not a harder cover. It's just as spinny as the Elixir, but it just pounces off the face. It is amazing. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for an extra couple yards off the tee and still want that same spin number that you get in your wedges and your irons and everything else. It is an awesome ball. Team Encore. See that? Got me for life.
For more information, their website is www.encoregolf.com. And be more with Encore.
Look what I just ordered. This trip is going to be great.
Bring enjoyment back to your game with golfknickers.com. Traditional golf knickers in bold colors and plaids, all with same-day shipping. Over 100 different socks and matching sweaters. Perfect for corporate outings, weddings, and special events.
Thanks, golfknickers.com, for making our tournament such a success.
Make your experience memorable.
Best time ever.
Call today for a free catalog.
And welcome back to Big's Golf Talk. BGT-TV right here on Native Family Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all your Amazon devices, and TuneIn and all that stuff. All your podcast platforms as well. Search for Big's Golf Talk, and we are available there. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and subscribe with us on YouTube. You know, we have millions of listeners and only thousands of followers. So get on our social media. Get some exclusive news and exclusive announcements on there that we don't even talk about here on the show. And the only way you find out is on social media. So,
and who doesn't want to see that beautiful face next to me?
Talking to you.
No, I was talking to you, not the producer. I don't like the producer much.
I
like you a little better.
So you've seen the spot for golfknickers.com. They are the sponsor of this segment here on Big's Golf Talk, BGT-TV, and stuff that you did not see on golfknickers.com ad was the new Homeland series.
Yes.
And Bill and I will be sporting that in French Lick Resort in August. So you'll be able to see that. We'll be on, and you'll see the photos and stuff like that of us in the Homeland series. And also, new for this season, when you use our coupon code BIGGS for not just the additional 10% off, but you also get free shipping. What? We all know how crazy shipping prices it could be.
It's
free
crazy.
Shipping. They have knickers for the ladies, for the men's, and for the kids. Make it a family affair with golfknickers.com, the world's leader in traditional golf apparel, and play golf in knickers. So golfknickers.com is the website. Free shipping, Bill. Have you seen these outrageous shipping prices lately when you order something?
I just sent a package. It cost me $22. And the only reason I paid the $22 because it would have cost $25 to buy the new item. So it's insane.
Can you imagine what you could do with that $20? You could buy an extra pair of socks from golfknickers.com.
You know why? Because you can't go nowhere else. At least we get a discount. We get 10% stacked on top of everything already. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's the only code that they have that you can literally stack on top of their own code. So it's pretty neat. So even on the sale items, because I bought some of the sale stuff and I got an extra 10% off using our code. So it's pretty cool. Use that code. It's Bigs.
Bill and I went through a system with Edison Golf with their wedges. And I'll tell you what, they want to have you play better golf and score low and have a better short game on the golf course. Edison Golf was founded by two golf industry veterans with a combined 75 plus years of experience in the industry. Bill, Chairman Terry Kaler, right?
Kaler. Yes.
Terry Kaler, better known as the Wedge Guy from his popular blog, has spent more than 40 years designing golf clubs. The past 30 of those years, he has focused on wedges. Prior to launching Edison Golf, he was the CEO of the Ben Hogan Golf Equipment Company, where he led a team that brought the vaunted brand back to the golf equipment world. His work in wedges dates to the mid-1990s, and he's pioneered a number of wedge designs attributes that have become a commonplace in the category. His Edison wedges were the first to incorporate the CNC milled grooves, and he introduced progressive weighting to the wedge category with his Score wedges in the early 2010s. Complementing Terry's creativity in wedge design is Edison Golf CEO Trace McDougall. But we do have on the line with us right now Terry Kaler here on Big's Golf Talk, and he's joining us here. And this is so big, we may have to go 2 segments. We'll have to see how this goes. Terry, welcome into Big's Golf Talk, my friend.
Hey, thank you, guys. It's good to be with you today.
Terry, a little bit of constructive criticism. You don't want to tell anybody you've been in the industry for 40 years old because you date yourself. And we all know that we don't want to tell people our age, okay? Well, Terry's been in the business for 10 years now. He just turned 40. There was a couple misprints, you know? Because
he started when he was 5 years old.
Ah, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, Terry, tell us how it all started, man. We want to know because, I mean, you're one of the rare few icons out there. We've had one on the show before that's been around almost as long as you have. And you've been around, you know, not just with wedges. I know you dabble with putters and everything in the past. Tell us how it all got started.
Well, guys, I've had a blessed life, 70 years of it. So I'm not shy about the number. It's just a number, and I feel very fortunate. But I grew up on a little 9-hole golf course. I don't literally remember life before golf. My dad was a very good player, made my brother and I very good players, and we were really blessed in everything. I always tell people I grew up in Mayberry with Ozzie and Harriet. And so guys your age might not know what that means, but guys my age.
Ozzie and Harriet, I know. I definitely know.
I know Mayberry.
My dad was an tinkerer, and we took fishing reels apart. We took shotguns and rifles apart. We cleaned things, and we reloaded ammunition. So I was always a little kid that was taking my toys apart to see how they worked. And so that kind of mechanical curiosity, you know, was always a trait, but it turned to serve me well. After college, I dabbled around a bit before I landed in the ad agency business. And the first account I went and called on was Ray Cook Putter Company in San Antonio. This back in 1980. And so I was so fascinated by what was going on in the back of that shop, you know, how the putters were built, why they were built that way. And so I added some other small golf companies and was just blessed with very patient clients that let me, you know, ask 1,000 questions about why does that golf club do that? Why does that putter do that? Why does that wedge do that? Why does that shaft do that? And I learned from some people that learned, you know, by feel before launch monitors and all of the technologies we have. This was a seat of your pants kind of approach to golf clubs. And my childhood idol was Ben Hogan. I read everything he wrote. I became a real sponge for golf instruction, golf technology. My dad was very encouraging that whether it's fly fishing or shotgun shooting, if you get into something, get way into it, learn all about it. And so I began dabbling in putter designs in the mid 80s and did that. And then I got really focused on wedges because I was looking at the new wedges of the late 80s. And I was looking at wedges that I had in my collection from the 50s and saw that there was really no changes in wedge design. I thought that was very odd. So on a trip to Scotland, I ended up creating this sole design with 2 bounces in it that we now call the Kaler sole. it's been proven for 25 years. I patented it in the early 90s. And then through that work, I began really looking at the difference between the way tour players hit their wedges and the way recreational golfers hit their wedges. And there's no part of the game that we differ more from them, other than, obviously the power profiles. But, there are 20 handicaps can hit at 300 out. I mean, they're, that go at it hard. But there are no club golfers, even the club champions, that have a short game like these guys. And, they wear out a dime-sized spot, right in the lower part of the club head. These guys wear out a dime-sized spot right here between the second and the fifth groove. And the rest of us are wearing out a silver dollar-sized spot, all over the face of the club. And wedges by design are very finicky about where you make contact. So I just said, I don't worry about tour players. I mean, there's some great designers that design great wedges for tour players, but how do I help the 6, the 10, the 20 handicapper get more out of his wedge game? And that's really been my driving force for most of the last 30 years. I mean, I did get off on a diversion from wedges and bring the Ben Hogan brand back to golf, and was CEO of that for a few years, and, achieved complete burnout. But I missed having my hands dirty, running an organization that big. I didn't get to go play with the golf clubs. I didn't get to go mess with the design that much. And, I did design the first products that the new Ben Hogan came out with that were very good. But there were just too many other pieces of the puzzle. And so I retired, and it took me about a year to realize that's not what I want to do, and started writing my blog for golfwrx.com. And no sooner than I did that, fans and followers started saying, when are you going to do wedges again? And my answer was, I guess right now. So that's kind of where Edison came. Recruited my longtime friend Trace McNeil to run the operation, and I get to get my hands dirty every day, and talk to golfers every day, and look at the clubs they send back, and try to figure out why they might not have worked for that particular guy. But it's really been fun. I'm having a great time, and we set up the company in a great little coastal town of Rockport, Texas, and so my fly fishing is only 10 blocks down the street to put my boat in the water. So, life's great.
There you go. It's a great thing. I'll tell you what, I want to go back here, though, because as you're growing up, Ben Hogan was one of your favorite golfers, and then understandably so, right? I mean, Ben Hogan was many of a favorite to many. And later on in life, you got to work for the Ben Hogan Golf Company.
Oh, were you part owners, or because I know first you had Score, and then Ben Hogan came out. I remember the first year at the PGA show that they made the appearance. Literally, as soon as we walked in, you guys were right there, Ben Hogan. But wasn't it you that did you start? You were like one of the big guys from Ben Hogan.
So the brief story of that is we were building a great following with the Score wedges, and actually had a challenge to the trademark by, of all things, a apparel company, and it was very litigious. And so here we're building this great momentum under the Score brand, and we're finding out, we got a challenge here. We probably could win, but it's going to cost a lot of legal money. And the Hogan brand had kind of been in the closet, so to speak, for a number of years after multiple changes of ownership. And so I approached the company that owned the brand and said, how about we bring the Ben Hogan brand back into equipment? And so Score just kind of packed up and evolved and rolled into the Ben Hogan thing. And I was majority owner of it in those initial formative stages. But, we had to raise a lot of capital. And so therefore we took in, other investors, and those of us who own majority shares went to minority shares. And they decided to take it a different direction, make a discount brand out of it. I didn't want anything to do with that. And so it was a good time to leave. I just believe that, there are certain things you do and certain things you don't do. And I think you always have to be true to yourself. And I'm a premium guy. I want to build the finest equipment I can possibly build. And then you figure out how it has to price. And I've always put more into my wedges and golf clubs, and I've always come out higher priced than the mainstream brands because, we just do more. I mean, at Edison Golf, for example, there are no stock wedges here.
Right.
We build every order. It comes in. We review the order. I personally look at every single order comes in, look at it for any oddities that I might want to talk to that customer about, and then send it back into production. And that order gets built in 2 to 4 days and boxed and shipped out. So, everything's custom built. I just think that's the way golf clubs should be. I mean, we're making big investments in our golf bag. We should make sure we're getting what we need. And, I certainly don't want our Edison wedges in the bag of somebody if they're not right for them. We know the head design outperforms everybody out there, but, there's a shaft and a grip. There's other pieces of a golf club that need to be considered.
Yeah. Before I was interrupted by my co-host with the question I was going to ask. But being a fan back in your young days of Ben Hogan, and then doing what you did with the Ben Hogan Company, was that a dream come true to do something under the name Ben Hogan, or was that just something that you seen an opportunity and it just happened to be in that manner because on top of you being a fan?
Well, I think a little of each. It started out as kind of a defensive maneuver because I had to have a brand, and we needed to do something with this company, Score, and the Score brand was just something we were probably not going to be able to spend enough legal money to defend.
Right.
So the idea of bringing the Ben Hogan back, I've always had a picture of Mr. Hogan on my wall since I worked for the company in the early 90s. And, he was my my singular sports hero, my golf inspiration, along with my dad. So it became a dream come true once it became a reality that we could make it happen. And that probably, in all, transparency, that probably was a part of, the challenges. I mean, I was working 12, 14-hour days, and, it was just wanted to make that succeed so badly. For the Ben Hogan family, I got very involved with the Ben Hogan Foundation. I met Mr. Hogan's heirs, and, it was a big deal. It didn't turn out the way I wanted. But that's what life's all about, right? There's a great quote by Teddy Roosevelt about entrepreneurship and being in the arena with your face bloodied and battered, and I mean, that's what I am. I'm an entrepreneur. I like making something out of nothing, and we gave it a good start and rode off into the sunset.
Yeah, it's always nice to be an entrepreneur in something you love, right? Not just to be an entrepreneur in an opportunity, but don't really love it. It's more work than it is love. But in this instance, it's more love than work for you. Not to take away the work, because there is a lot of work into it. I think my next question, as we come into the end of this segment, we're going to ask you to stick around for another segment here on Big Golf Talk, because we still have to get to the process and the products itself. But with your name being Kaylor and your partner's name being McDougall, where does Edison come from?
Well, naming companies is one of the entrepreneurial adventures. I mean, now we create a company, what are we going to call it? And, we actually came up with what is Edison? What is this new company, this nameless new company? What's it going to be about? And I have no interest in doing things that other people have already done. That just isn't appealing to me. And so we kind of came up with, this idea of bold ideas for better golf shots. And so we actually came up with this tagline, bold ideas, better golf shots, as to what our company was going to be about. We're going to go down uncharted paths. We're going to do things that other people might say, why the hell did they do that? Because we know it works better. So these are bold ideas. I mean, the tailor-made metalwood was a bold idea. The Big Bertha was a bold idea. The Ping Answer was a bold idea. Graphite shafts were a bold idea. And these things changed the industry. And so that's kind of always been my driving thing. How can I act out on these bold ideas that I think wedges are just all wrong for recreational golfers? And I know that. So when I recruited Trace, we've been friends for 25 years. He is an engineer, mathematician by background. And he's Thomas Edison is kind of a personal hero of his, kind of like Ben Hogan was of mine. And so, he said, how about Edison? Edison was all about ideas. And, we kind of got this little light bulb as kind of a little, icon, for bold ideas. And he said, Edison, you are a lot alike because, you keep going down a pathway and failure doesn't deter you. And I always look at any failure, if you're a golf club designer or a business, it's just one more step to getting it right. And you can't be deterred by that. A lot of people are, and they drop out of the entrepreneurial life. But, I've always felt, you're learning a lot from failures. You better. And so that's where the Edison thing came out. We did some research. We found opportunity to secure that trademark. And so, what better namesake for a company that's all about bold ideas?
There you go. Here you go, Edison. There you go. That's how it all started. I think I would probably, you talk about bold ideas. It could have been bold wedges too, but Edison's good, and I like that theory that his idea. Edison was all about ideas and bold ideas and things like that. So, absolutely. All right, there you go. All right, we're gonna.
Poof.
I
got an idea.
You have an idea? What's your idea?
No, I'm not going to tell you because you might steal it. You know how many ideas we've had on this show that other people use? No, I'm keeping it to myself.
All right. Terry, can you stick around for another segment here on Big's Golf Talk? Because now we want to talk about the process.
Yes.
You talked a little bit about how you are hands-on with the consumer, with developing their wedge. And then we'll talk about the wedges themselves and the performance of them. And also we'll talk about the process that Bill went through. And Bill got wedges and actually played with those wedges. So we'll hear his testimonial as well. And then we'll get the answers. Why don't you have left-handed wedges?
Oh, I was going to save that bomb for later.
That's a good question. I got a great answer for you.
All right. We'll save that answer. All right. More coming your way right here with Terry Kaler here from Edison Golf on Big's Golf Talk. We'll be right back right after this.